There's a certain kind of morning that feels like the world is quietly telling you something. The air is still, the fire is just waking up, and everything feels possible. Maya had been chasing that feeling for years, in new cities, new jobs, new beginnings. And then one morning, sitting right by the fire, she finally found where it actually lives. Not out there, in here. In a book written 2000 years ago by a man who ruled the entire world and still asked himself every single day, am I becoming who I'm meant to be? His name was Marcus Aurelius, and the first thing he wrote, the very first page of his private journal, wasn't a strategy or a philosophy or some wisdom. It was gratitude. He sat down and said thank you to the specific people who shaped him, who poured into him, who made him who he was. And as Maya read his list that morning, she started writing her own. What she discovered changed how she saw every relationship in her life. The very first line Marcus Aurelius writes in Book 1 is about his grandfather Verus. Just 4 words: a gentle temper and meekness. Now, pause on that for a second. This was the most powerful man on earth. He commanded armies, he governed millions, he could silence a room with one look. And the very first quality he chose to honor? Gentleness. When Maya read that, something stirred in her. She thought of her own grandmother, a woman who never made her feel small, not once in her entire life. Not when Maya made mistakes, not when she changed direction 3 times, not when she called at midnight unsure of everything. Her grandmother would just say, "You are exactly where you need to be, my love." Maya used to think that was naive. Now she understands it was wisdom, because gentleness is softness. It's strength that doesn't need to prove itself. The most powerful man who ever lived knew that. Do we? A few lines later, Marcus writes about his mother. Liberty, simplicity in living, abstaining from evil thoughts. Simplicity, generosity, clean thinking. Not wealth, not ambition, not the approval of people who didn't matter. She taught him how to want less and feel more. Maya's mother was the same way. They didn't grow up with much, but their home was always open, always warm, always full. She remembers sitting at the kitchen table as a teenager, watching her mother pack groceries for elderly neighbors down the road. "We can't afford this," Maya said. And her mother just smiled and said, "We always have enough. When you believe that, you always will." Maya has spent years in rooms full of people calculating every move. What's in it for me? What's my return? And sitting by this fire, she can feel the question forming. When did I start doing the same thing? People who shape us most aren't always the loudest voices in the room. Sometimes they're the ones who showed up quietly, day after day, and just lived the values they wanted us to carry. What values are the people in your life living right now? Because whether you notice or not, you are absorbing them. Further in Book 1, Marcus writes about a teacher named Diognetus. From Diognetus, not to busy myself with trifling things, not to chase trivialities. In Marcus Aurelius' time, trifling things meant chariot racing, gossip, miracle workers, and keeping up with the politics of the palace. In ours, endless scrolling, comparison, the constant pull of things that are loud but not important. Different era, same trap, same cost. Maya thinks of her old university lecturer, a woman who started every single class by placing her phone face down on the desk and saying, "Your attention is the most valuable thing you own. The whole world is competing for it. Guard it, like your life depends on it, because it does." At the time, Maya smiled politely and thought, that's a bit dramatic. Now she picks up her phone before her feet hit the floor each morning. She's done the screen time audit. She knows the number. She knows. Diognetus taught Marcus to go deep on what matters and let everything else fade into noise. The most fulfilled people Maya has ever met all share one quality. They are unreasonably selective about what gets their time and energy. So here's the question worth sitting with today. What's your attention building? Now we arrive at one of the most striking entries in all of Book 1, a teacher named Rusticus. Marcus writes, from Rusticus, the impression that my character required improvement and discipline. The ruler of the known world, sitting alone, writing in private. I need to be improved. No performance, no audience, no spin, just clean, honest self accounting. Rusticus apparently didn't let Marcus hide. He pushed back on showing off. He pushed back on clever words that meant nothing. He said, be simple, be real, tell the truth about yourself. Maya thinks of a mentor she had in her mid-20s, a woman named Dr. Ose. Brilliant, warm, and absolutely relentless. She'd sit across Maya and say, you are so capable, and you are hiding. Stop performing. What do you actually think? What do you actually want? Maya found it infuriating. And then, slowly, uncomfortably, she got better, more honest, more herself. Rusticus also taught Marcus something else. Something that sounds simple and is anything but simple. Forgive quickly. Not because forgiveness is easy, but because resentment is the weight you carry alone, while the other person gets on with their life. The most growth driven people aren't the ones who protect themselves from hard feedback, they're the ones who go looking for it. Where are you hiding right now? That's the question Rusticus would ask. The last teacher in today's part of the list is one who stopped Maya completely. His name was Apollonius. And Marcus writes, from Apollonius, freedom of will and undeviating steadiness of purpose. Not financial freedom, not the freedom to do whatever you want, inner freedom. The freedom to stay yourself, grounded, purposeful, consistent, regardless of what is happening around you. Apollonius was steady in a way that most of us have never experienced in another person. Not cold, not distance, just unshakable. The same man on the best day and the worst day. Present, purposeful, calm. Maya thinks about how much her own sense of self has shifted with outside things over the years. A promotion, a rejection, a comment that stings, a number on a screen that goes up or down. She's been outsourcing her inner state to the outside world, and she's exhausted from it. But here, in the stillness of this morning, with nothing but this fire and this book and the sound of the world waking up, she can feel something settle. What would it mean to same person regardless of what happens? To not need to win the validation, the approval, to feel whole. Marcus Aurelius, ruler of the entire known world, considered inner freedom his most precious inheritance. Maya keeps reading. The list continues. There's a teacher who showed Marcus how to correct people without ever humiliating them. There's a mentor who showed him what it looks like to love justice more than comfort and live by it when no one is watching. There's someone who taught him how to sit with real pain, the kind that doesn't go away quickly without breaking. And then, near the end of the list, there's an entry that makes Maya stop completely. Because Marcus includes someone who hurt him. He doesn't name them, but you can feel it in the words. This is someone who let him down, who disappointed him in a way that left a mark. And yet, he gives them a place on the list. He finds the lesson in the wound. Because that's the real question, isn't it? It's easy, beautiful even, to thank the people who poured into you. The ones who hurt you, challenged you, pushed you past what you thought you could carry. What do you do with those people? What's their place in your list? That answer and the rest of the book is waiting for us in part 2. I want to ask you, who's on your list? The gentle one, the generous one, the honest one, the steady one. They are in there, and they shaped you more than you know. In part 2, we'll meet the rest of Marcus's teachers, including the one who hurt him. If this felt like something you needed today, share it with one person who needs to hear it too. Bye for now. See you soon.